Casey's Audio Vault.
Dan Donegan from Disturbed.
November 28th, 2008.
Hey, what's up, Casey?
Not much. How are you?
Good. Good.
Yeah, whereabouts are you?
We're in Great Falls, Montana.
It's a little change
Middle
from...
of nowhere. Yeah.
It's been a pretty, well, I guess most years for you are pretty busy with the touring. I guess you just got back from Europe not too long ago?
Yep. Yeah, we did almost 5 weeks we were over there.
And you made it all the way up to Finland as well.
Yeah, we finished the tour in Finland. We were all over Germany, Switzerland, Austria, the UK, Sweden, Norway. You know, a lot of great markets, a lot of great shows. But Finland was a nice surprise. We haven't been there in about 7 years or so. We've been there, one other time 7 years ago, and it's nice to go there now. We had over 7,000 people there, so it was a big turnout and a great way to end the tour.
A lot of festival dates out there, or are these like arena shows?
No, those were just all our own headlining shows. We had done the festivals back in June, so this was kind of a follow-up to that, just kind of wanting to get back a little bit sooner and just, seeing what kind of impact we had on the festivals to see just a bigger turnout coming back on the headlining run.
Has the life on the road as Disturbed changed a bit over the past 10 years, I guess, or so? Are you guys a little bit more laid back than you used to be?
I think now we kind of pick and choose our battles and our big moments. Things have definitely changed over the years just because, we're a little bit older, a little bit more domesticated. And, when we first came out, we were just, 4 single guys just looking to be on the road. And we still love being on the road. But this time around, I got my 2 little kids with me, a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, and my wife. And then we just have our Mike's wife will visit sometimes, and John's wife and kids will visit. But it hasn't changed drastically that much. I mean, in one end, I got to put in daddy time, and when it's right too, I also have a nanny out here with us, just kind of giving us a hand. So me and my wife still have a little bit of time, together as well. It's not just constantly keeping the kids cooped up on the bus. So we pick and choose our moments.
And the kids get to see the world as well.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, especially my daughter now, she's going to be 5 next week, so she gets to really remember that she's been to certain places now, and it's pretty cool for her.
Do you take many pictures on the road? Like, you have a camera with you? You like document your journeys throughout everywhere?
For sure, yeah. I mean, a lot of times, over our whole career, we've always pretty much had a videographer on the road with us too, just documenting everything and archiving it, and some of it release footage on either our MySpace page or our Disturbed1.com page. And we have so much stuff just archived, we'd probably like to release something in the future as well, too, just because there's so much stuff that we have forgotten about or haven't seen in a while. And
what kind of stuff?
A lot of the offstage stuff. It's just kind of an opportunity to fans to see the personalities and the way we are offstage and what we do while we're on the road. And like you said, just the sightseeing and stuff like that too. So we definitely try to take advantage of the cities that we visit and want to see what it's all about.
With the new record, Indestructible, I see that there's some music reviews, critics, that kind of thing, saying the guitar playing has evolved over the records, and that would be you, kind of going back, they're saying more of an 80s hard rock sound. Is that something that you hear in it or something that you've moved towards?
It's definitely something that, over the years, the guys have kind of always been encouraging me to bring a little bit more of that back within our songs. I mean, when we first got together and we were back in the mid-90s, that's all of our songs there were solos and everything. And I just think throughout the years, I mean, the guys knew what I'm capable of doing on that end of things. But, I like to do it if it calls for it in the song, if it feels like I want to go in that direction. I've never really been the type of person that felt like I need to have my moment to kind of try to step in the spotlight or that. But I like to try to do things, tastefully within the song and not just trying to be one of those guys that wants to play as many notes as he can within 30 seconds or so. But definitely, I mean, heavily influenced by a lot of the classic metal bands throughout the year, going back to, Sabbath and Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Pantera and Metallica and all that stuff. But even throughout the 80s, I mean, that was kind of more of the decade where I was really picking up the guitar and, forming my first bands and stuff. And a lot of great guitar players came out that time too. And at the moment, that was what was inspiring me to play as well. And those were guys like George Lynch from Dokken or Warren DeMartini from Rat. And, even though it's a lot of the hair metal bands that came out at that time, I mean, the guitar players that came from that decade were amazing players.
Would you say you're more influenced by, like, the Metallicas as opposed to the Guns N' Roses of that era?
Probably more so. I mean, I loved Slash as a player, and I loved Appetite for Destruction when it came out. I mean, it was kind of a breath of fresh air to have something, new and groundbreaking, and just that raunchy, sleazy sound that they had. And, but Slash is, a bluesier player, than myself, so I wasn't as heavily influenced, but I definitely respect it. I think he's definitely, an amazing player.
With Chinese Democracy just coming out last week, it seems to be on the tip of everybody's tongue. Have you heard the new Guns N' Roses album?
Not enough to really judge it. I don't really have a good opinion of it because it was just very little that I heard.
How about Death Magnetic, the new Metallica? Have you gotten into that one?
Yeah, from what I've heard so far, I mean, I'm not familiar with the whole album, but I think it sounds great. I definitely, I thought that the song Cyanide kind of stuck out to me, and a few others I'm still getting familiar with the titles. I think it was definitely, a step in the right direction for them, and, I've always been a Metallica fan. Everybody's going to have their favorite albums, and even though there might have been a few people that weren't too thrilled with Saint Anger, I'm still a fan, and I'll still buy every album they put out. I mean, just like us, people are always going to pick a different favorite album from us, whether it was The Sickness, because that was the first album we put out and the first album that people could relate to or identify us with, because that was the first one that put us on the map. There's still new fans that we're gaining off of, this album that aren't familiar with The Sickness.
Have you had a chance to play with Metallica or get to meet the guys? Yeah,
we've done, this past June, we did a couple of festivals in Germany that we were on with them. They're amazing. And a few years before that, on the 10,000 Fist record, we went to Germany and did a couple of the same festivals as well. And we met the guys. I mean, they're just unbelievable on how regular, down-to-earth guys they are, And I've always been worried about that, meeting somebody at their level of just, you're afraid that they're going to be a jerk or, arrogant or whatever. And it was so not the case with them. We have met Robert before when he used to play with Ozzy. So the times that we've done Ozfest, we had met him and knew that he was, a cool guy. And me and him have similar, construction backgrounds. So we relate on another level there. But he was just always a regular guy. And then when we had met Lars and James and Kirk, I mean, they just, came up and approached us and said hello. And I remember meeting James. He came up to me first and introduced himself at a festival in Germany and said, "Hi, I'm, James Hetfield." I'm like, I think I know who you are, One time they were passing through Chicago, our hometown, and they were kind of hubbing out of there while they were touring the U.S., and they had given us a call. I think he had called David, our singer, to see if we were in town, if we wanted to meet him out for a drink, and we went downtown to a small little bar it was only James, Kirk, and Robert, James wasn't there, Lars, Kirk, and Robert that were at the bar, because James was, staying clean and away from it. So we had popped into the bar to have a couple of drinks with them that night, and it was just laid back, cool guys. They made you feel like you've, been friends for years.
And you had mentioned hometown Chicago. Is this huge U.S. election kind of a big deal for you, Obama being from Chicago as well?
Well, it didn't matter to me that he's from Chicago. I mean, I guess it's nice to have somebody from your hometown there. But, I think the whole world, this was the first time that I've ever remembered the rest of the world, especially us being over in Europe, a few weeks ago, to see how many strong opinions that other countries had and how many people seemed to be, hoping and wanting Obama to be our next president. more so than I've ever recalled in the past of other countries having such a strong opinion on it. And so we're all ready for change. I mean, I didn't want George Bush in there for the second term that he served. But it is what it is, and we're glad that it's coming to an end for him. And hopefully we could better our relations with other countries and get on the right track. And but Obama, no matter who's in there, Obama's not going to be able to solve the problems we have. As quick as people think he may. The economy's in trouble, and that's going to take many years, and it might take more than one term as president to start seeing some progress. But the fact that we got somebody coming in that seems focused and seems very intelligent, and hopefully we'll see some change and some proper steps to correcting a lot of the poor judgment and the mistakes that were made during Bush's presidency.
Well, Dan, I appreciate you giving the Rock Report a phone call. I'd like to finish on a bit of a lighter note than politics. Here at the station, we're growing mustaches for November. It's Movember. It's kind of an initiative to raise awareness for prostate cancer. Now, have you ever grown a mustache?
I have a little bit of a goatee here, and it's funny because I have very little body hair, or the little bit that I have on my face. I mean, I guess the goatee's a little bit longer now, but it took me a long time to even grow that. So, it's just kind of funny because I have no chest hair and no nothing. It's very it's kind of funny. I don't know if it's just the Irish in me that doesn't really have much facial hair or whatever, but
so you didn't try when you were in junior high or anything like that to grow a bad mustache?
I couldn't. I mean, it was funny in junior high and even after high school. I barely had any facial hair. I mean, I wasn't really shaving until well after the college years there. I don't know, kind of silly, and like I said, I have a little bit of a mustache and the goatee, but I can't even really get the true connection between the two.
I've got the same problem. It's just I look more like a pervert than anything else.
There is something creepy about guys that just have the mustache too, though. It's more of a 70s porn star look to him or something, or a child molester. It's
true. Like, you need to have that face as if you were born with the mustache, like Tom Selleck or Wilford Brimley or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you're in disguise. Well, Disturbed is next Saturday night, Burton Cummings Theater. Dan, I appreciate getting you on the Rock Report.
All right, thanks, man.
All the interviews you want on iTunes and at Power97.com. Casey's Audio Vault.
Casey Norman is Power 97's music director and can be heard every weekday from 2 till 6 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Power 97 is Winnipeg's best rock.